So this week we have a special guest with us on T1D Lifestyle Sugar Me Saturday. And what is your name, sir?
I thought you knew. Okay. My name is Shavar D Clark, and I am Anita Nicole Brown's boyfriend.
Alrighty, yay! Alright, so this episode is just basically for why you joined the T1D lifestyle or kind of roped into it. Whatever, we'll figure that.
Roped into it.
It was not. It wasn't roped into it.
Roped into it, rawhide style.
Oh.
There was some person on horseback and lassoed up and threw a rope and somehow caught one of my ankles. I tried to get away. I wasn't fast enough and just rode off with me, dragging away into the sand, into the sunset.
Okay, y'all all know that's bull, but
No,
let's go.
it was not a bull. It was a horse. Horseback.
All right, so Shavar, how soon did you find out that I was a Type 1 diabetic?
I believe, if I remember, I don't think it was the first day we met, but it was definitely the first night we dated.
Dated or hung out?
We dated first, I thought. When you say hang out...
Remember, we were friends for over a year.
Okay.
You see? That's why I was saying dated or hung out.
Well... I don't think it was when we hung out, because at that point it's not pertinent information because I'm not with her. You know what I mean? It's not like something I'm going to need to know to save her life at this point, because we're not together. Whichever our first major outing, I guess you could say, was, I remember in detail that was when. Was it the movie?
It
wasn't the movie. You sure?
We went out to eat. But we were just hanging out as friends. And I was testing my glucose levels.
Okay.
That's why I said...
Okay, so she did... I do remember an instance where she was testing out her levels. And she made it a point to tell me that even though, whatever adjustments she had to make before she ate, she didn't have the electronic monitor at this point.
CGM.
So, right. So...
Or the insulin pump.
So, right there in the open, she syringed herself right in the midsection. And I mean, I wasn't off-put by it, because when she told me, why, I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I understood it. But, you had people coming around, it's a little off-putting to people that don't really know what the deal is when someone just takes out a random medical syringe and just pops themselves with it.
Yeah, but most people don't think it's a medical syringe. They just think it's for drugs. So,
well, yeah. How do you think I felt? I knew what it was for because you told me. But I'm saying, I got people coming around here looking thinking that I'm with a druggie. I mean, how do you think I feel? That brings down my non-existent status. What little status I have.
But were you when you saw it for the first time or whatever, was that off-putting to you?
No.
Did that
I've
change?
Already stated.
I'm just making sure.
When I saw you doing it, it was oh, okay. I mean, I just wanted to know why. The moment you told me why, it was oh, all right, well, I mean, you got to do it unless you like death, So you do what you got to do.
Okay, so before me, did you know any other diabetics? And if so, what kinds did you know?
Most of the relationships that I've come to have in life before you, where anybody was a grade of diabetic, it was usually type 2. there weren't that many, but it was usually type 2 diabetes. But I knew Steve before you.
Yeah.
And Steve was a friend of mine. He's not with us anymore, fortunately. But he, too, was a type 1 diabetic. He did not die from diabetic
complications,
causes.
Yeah.
But he gave me a brief rundown on like what it was like for him to be a type 1 diabetic as well. And that was where I got most of my information from. And then came this one here. Who came with a near, I'm not going to say encyclopedic knowledge, but out of anyone who like had to explain how to take care of them, or how they went about taking care of themselves, and the research that they used going into it, she had the most. It was very well detailed and remains so today. Annoyingly so.
Now.
Shut up. God,
now, when you knew that I was a diabetic and everything, like seriously, was that unnerving? Like to stay with me, or like was that ever a question? Like, of course, I know you still contemplating why you still with me, but was diabetes a reason about why should I stay with her or not?
No. If you're gonna I'm stuttering here. If you're gonna really be with anyone when all the cards are on the table and they tell you like everything about themselves like that, then you should be righteous in that decision and take it as it comes. During a relationship, no. I say during the relationship like it's past. No. Up until this point, any problems that have really come about, it has not been because of type 1. If anything, she should be groveling in my feet for all the times I saved her. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not going to go there. That was a learning experience, though. Like having Yep. Oh, well, go ahead. Make it an official question.
Okay. Okay, so I was just going to say, like, what was the hardest part about, like, since learning about type 1 diabetes, what was the hardest thing to deal with in association with T1D and me?
That would definitely be, well, really, you would think that it would be the lows. It's not the lows. It was the highs.
Really?
When it happened. Oh, yes. See, everybody's, as I've come to learn, everybody with this illness reacts differently. Steve was functional to a point, but like he felt it, but it wasn't super visible. He just kind of, he would take me to the side like, hey, I gotta go and hit some insulin for a little bit. Why, are you okay? No, I'm just oh, okay, fine, go do what you gotta do. I've never seen him in an instance where he hit such hard glucose levels, low glucose levels, where he was incapacitated, whether asleep or awake or whatever like that. And her particular instance, a lot of times it happens more so when she's asleep. I believe it's just from...
But those are the lows that happen when I'm asleep.
Those are the lows, and I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay.
A lot of times, it happens when you're asleep. So, in trying to get her to recover, it becomes a hassle trying to get her to ingest something with carbs in it to try to get them up. I try not to resort to using glucagon shots. Sorry, I try not to resort to using them because they cost. That adds up, and like if I'm absolutely positive I can get her levels back up without the use of it, then I'll do it. And I've come to learn how to do it effectively. Sometimes she fights a little harder than others, but I get it done either way. I usually find a way all the time. But before she got her insulin pump, there would be times where she would come out of sleep with high levels. When she hits her high levels and she doesn't realize it, she becomes hyperactive. I don't know if it's her body subconsciously trying to sweat out the sugar or whatever, if that even makes sense. Her body's reacting to it to where she's up and down the wall, and she has like triple the physical strength she already has. So trying to pin her down long enough to like even check her levels is a thing, because she's actually awake. She's not asleep and like, no, she's awake. You know, and it becomes, you don't remember doing it.
Fine. Okay.
No.
All right.
She kicks, she swings, she, you know what? She's like Harley Quinn.
Come on, no.
Because like when it happened with you, like you're laughing when you do it. I don't know what it is. Like you're like you have this huge weird ass smile on your face when you do it. Like you're having fun. I'm not. But it really looks like she's genuinely having fun. Like something up here went down to like a child, and like she's playing. No, I don't mean that in a negative sense. But like she's playful, but her strength is up to here. Like at the time, I'm a little heavier now, but at the time I was like maybe 220. All right, she's one something.
139, 140.
See, I wasn't trying to say
I don't care.
Woman's weight.
140.
Like but you know, I had a hard time holding her down. I have enough confidence in my strength to do whatever, but she's the Tasmanian devil in her case when she is experiencing highs while unconscious. I know that was a bit
while
long-winded.
conscious, you mean?
While unconscious. I think it's,
even though I don't remember,
it probably
but I was
doesn't
awake.
make sense, right? All right. Okay, I guess we could say while conscious. It didn't seem like you knew what you were doing though.
What
I had to kick her in the chest one time. I didn't.
He's so full of it. He's so full of it.
I didn't kick her in the chest. I did push her down some stairs.
No, you didn't.
She was naked too.
Okay, next question.
Everything flopped.
Shavar.
Oh.
Okay, so how have I been with educating you, and when you
Again?
didn't pick up on the information that I was telling you and giving you and all of that? How
have you been?
How was I?
You were impatient. The thing is, she's had years to develop her patterns and how to take care of herself, right? And it was a lot more difficult when she didn't have the use of electronic items, the insulin pump, the CGM, all that. So she had to pay a lot more attention to everything she did and had to be extra careful in all the steps she had to take to keep herself safe. Now, in telling me this information, like I had some bits and pieces, but to her I just wasn't getting it fast enough. And I'm telling her, like, look, it's gonna take some time. Like I can't remember all of this in a day. All right,
guys, I'll let y'all know he had like a year or two already, and he was still dropping some knowledge that he couldn't keep it. So yes, I was getting a little frustrated.
I couldn't keep it.
There was some knowledge you couldn't hold on to. Like, remember when I'd asked you about the insulin? Like, what was the warmest the temperature it could be, and all of that. And yeah, so yeah, we had some issues when I have to inquire about which is the long lasting, which is the short acting insulin, and all of that.
I mean,
like I'll
figure it out when you collapse.
Oh my God! See,
We'll figure it out. We'll get it.
So yes, I was a little impatient about it. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean...
But yes, I was.
I only had the insulin out for a little while from out of the fridge. I mean, yes, it was in the sun, but I mean, come on. It was just 10 minutes. It wasn't even that warm.
He is so full of it. He's
like
never done that.
89 degrees out, and I had it in the sun. It wasn't even that hot.
Oh my God.
It wasn't even that hot. Like, you...
But that was where a lot of the frustration came from.
In my defense, no, she was treating this as if I should have been studying this for a college exam every day for months. The problem was she wasn't experiencing any emergencies very often, thankfully. So because I'm still, or at the time, I was still like trying to sort of get in the swing of things, I'm not really, and this is going to sound bad, but like, you know, I'm not really thinking about the Type 1 diabetic aspect because, you know, we're just hanging out. And I still have to remember, like, oh, wait, crap. Alright. But the information that I was really trying to hold on to was in the case of emergencies. And because those emergencies didn't come super often, again, thankfully, they didn't come super often, when the time did come for me to act, I was slow upon doing it because oh crap, which one? You know what I mean? It was just tough going at first.
Yeah.
But again, I got it. I mean, man.
Now, again, y'all, just a heads up, jeez. I did draw up a 2-page document for you with all the information.
See, a 2-page document. A 2-page document.
This is how anal I am, guys.
2-page document.
Okay, what was it like when you did have to inject my insulin and stuff like that?
It was a new experience, but I mean, I did it. I just didn't want, because again, you were wiggly. I was just worried about like hitting the syringe at a weird angle.
Yeah, but what about when I wasn't? Like when I just say, "Hey, can you do it in the backs of my arms because I can't get it?"
Oh,
remember though?
That? That's your job.
But I can't get the back. Okay.
You want to stay alive, don't you? That's your job.
Here's
I did it, but like she wanted, or I guess she has to have it done. One would have to have it done a certain way so that, I guess some people like kind of have spots that they're more used to being pricked than others. 1 and 2, you prick enough times eventually, as I've learned from her, the buildup of scar tissue would make it a bit harder to absorb the insulin. So she wanted me to like put the insulin to give her the syringe full of insulin, like in her arm in like a certain way. To her, I kept missing. I didn't miss. She had her finger right there. She didn't have it right there, but for example, all right, put it right here. Put it right here. No, put it right here. Right here? No, put it right. I just saw you take your finger off of that spot. It's right there.
I was not that bad.
You were awful. Nah.
Okay, here's another question for you. Here's another question for you.
What?
Do you know how to change my insulin pump or my CGM?
Change your insulin pump?
Boop. Mm-hmm. Knocking the stuff over.
Do I know how to change your CGM?
Yeah.
No. I think the insulin pump, I think I might remember, but that's not something that I personally have had to practice. She showed it to me when she first got that model like a few times, and then like after that I haven't, like I've seen her do it, but like actually applying it is a whole other story. Like I know how to apply it and whatever like that, and use the PDA.
PDM.
PDM? Okay. Use the PDM. Look. Okay. I grew up in the 90s. People had PDAs. Okay, so I still call it a PDA.
It's not a PDA. It's a PDM. But okay.
It's a personal digital assistant. And what that does, it assists you in living. because it monitors, or no, it controls the functions of that insulin pump, okay? It is an assistant. It is a digital assistant. All right?
Y'all see what I go through? Y'all see what I go through?
You companies need to simplify some of these device names, okay? Because some of them suck. Now.
Okay.
But at any rate,
and like the CGM, granted, guy, I
uh-huh.
just got the CGM in January of this year, so
yeah, so
it is still relatively new.
You see what
I just
gotta
wanted
deal with?
You see me put it on. Do you remember the first time I put it on and like blood drew and I was like, ah!
She's asking me if I know how to put this thing on when A, she just got it, and B, she didn't even tell me how to put it on. She didn't teach me anything about applying the CGM to her. So, hey, the CGM, no, you did not tell me that one. You
remember when I told you to just push it in because I was scared?
No.
Y'all see what I deal with? No, okay. Anyway. Okay. All right. Has there been anything goofy, crazy, silly, stupid, fun moments that you have experienced with me in connection to being a type 1 diabetic?
Well, obviously. Let me count the ways.
Oh, God.
Now, the one, obviously, there have been a few. But I think most people that have been with type 1 diabetics that have had to deal with the instances where emergencies arise have a story.
Oh, my God.
My favorite one
God.
comes from right after a bowling tournament.
Oh.
So we go to this restaurant after having bowled in a tournament or whatever like that. We leave, we sit down, we order our food. Everything is fine up until the food gets there. Now, by the time the food gets there, I'm already looking at her and I can tell by this point that she was starting to drop. That her levels are starting to drop. I was asking if she was alright. She said, no, I'm fine, which diabetics will lie to you. Either they will lie to you, or they simply don't know. But other people that have hung around them for long enough can tell. And she doesn't listen to me at times, but you stick around this one person long enough and you start to pick up on when they need help. Now I knew that she was starting to take a dip. So I was our drinks had already gotten there.
You got an extra Coke and stuff.
I was trying to get her to drink her Coke, Coca-Cola. I was trying to get her to drink her pop to like hold up the levels. To bring up the levels. It was at that point that she started really slumming. Mm-hmm. I took her pump. I turned her pump off.
Well, suspended it, but yeah.
I called over a manager and had them to send a medical team because what happened? There was something about the pump. Like we didn't have any of our supplies or any of your supplies on us.
We didn't have, the glucagon wasn't there. But it was more because my levels had... Okay, so what had happened was I had bolused.
Right.
Because we were headed to eat. And I had been running a little high.
Right.
So when I bolused for the food, we got there. I think the food was taking a little bit longer than they had anticipated.
Okay.
And so by that time... You counter that with all the exercise and everything from the bowling. Right. And then from just being there waiting with the insulin in me.
Right.
It didn't help. So even when you did suspend the insulin, I still had insulin on board that had already been put into me while prepping for the food to come. So by the time, because I had bolused.
You bolused, but that brought your levels down, right?
Right, but it's going to keep bringing them down because my levels were basically they weren't high, but they were about 170 or something like that.
But in a case like that, we would need, if we had it on us, we would need like
the glucagon would probably have brought me up a lot faster,
gel,
or the gels.
Or glucose gel, sorry. We had no emergency items on us. So, because of that, we had to call for help. The managers called for an ambulance to come. Instead of one ambulance, though, we got 2 fire trucks. We got 2 fire trucks. They came in. It drew a whole
God!
As if someone.
And this was a nice restaurant too.
It was a pretty good restaurant.
It was a nice restaurant, and I'm like laid out on the table.
It was in one of those towns where if you see a crime show that happened in this town, they'll be like, "Oh man, nothing like this ever happens in these towns. Like we always leave the doors unlocked and all of that. Like nothing.
Whatever."
Like, no, I'm saying like it was idyllic, and yet here we go. This woman is dying right here.
I wasn't dying, but okay.
You wouldn't be able to tell by the look on the faces of spectators because they were frightened. It was so bad that when she finally came to, the manager of the restaurant had us fill out
like a
liability waivers, so
like it wasn't their fault,
right? So that we would not hold the restaurant responsible for what happened. And like we had already said, like we know it's not you guys, and he was like, I mean that's great, but
fill this out.
We need you to sign this.
But they didn't charge us a whole lot or anything. No. They were great.
Other than that, like the food was decent, and the rest of the trip was good. So yeah, we were probably gonna be on the local news that night in that small town, and we went back home. So that was fun. We should have sued them.
Oh my God, no.
We should have got some extra bucks out of it. Is what some of your viewers are probably going to think, like, girl, I wouldn't have signed nothing. I wouldn't have signed nothing. Your food did this to me.
I didn't even get the food.
I want $150,000.
See, this
from
is
what this establishment did to
this
my
what
levels.
your issue
I was
is.
scared for my safety. I was scared for my safety. I thought I was going to die. I had family to go back to, and I want my money or else the pain won't go away.
Oh my God. All right.
Okay.
So, real quick.
No.
Yes.
This video was not quick.
I know. Okay, so, do you think it is hard being a type 1 diabetic? And do you think it is hard to live with a type 1 diabetic? Honestly.
Well, you have some type 1 diabetics that are relatively carefree. I mean, they take care of what they want. They take care of business on themselves and keep themselves healthy. But I wouldn't want to be one. I mean, there's a lot to monitor, especially in the more severe cases of type 1 diabetes.
Severe cases?
There was this one case where we went to California, me and Anita. We went to California. We were in a store, and we ran into this woman who had all types of problems.
Okay.
She was not only resistant, but allergic to
insulin.
Just about every brand of insulin that was available.
Yep.
So, like, because she had to get a specific type, it cost a bundle. And it cost so much that it was what her mom like kicked her out of the house or something like that.
No, it was like a mortgage or something.
Right. She had to pay up a lot to live because she was resistant to the one thing that exists to
save
prolong her life.
Yeah.
And there aren't that many brands of insulin, are there? Like, and
makers of it,
right. No. Okay, yeah. But it was like one specific one that she had And
I don't remember.
Whatever.
But I do remember talking to her.
To me, that's an extreme case. Like, if you need insulin to live, but your body rejects it, your body can't take it, that's awful. Yeah. That was, like, super bad. So, in those cases, it becomes, I empathize a whole lot more because, man, the way these companies are, I think even now, still raising these prices for insulin. If you're not insured, you're screwed financially.
Sometimes you're screwed even though you are insured.
Yeah, man. Like, they more and more, they're trying to figure out workarounds to get you to a little more. So, in terms of not just having to monitor everything to keep up with my own health, but in terms of trying to keep up with whatever payments that these companies are trying to gouge you with, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Now, is it hard to live with a Type 1 diabetic? I mean, I stayed over Steve's house a few times. You know, it was fun with that guy, you know, but like with
you
this
know
one,
what?
it was...
Screw you!
Oh boy, I tell you,
I hate you. I hate you so much.
No respect at all. You know? I would say to anybody that's going to go ahead in a relationship with a Type 1 diabetic, try and learn your stuff, and try not to hold it against them. It admittedly can be very agitating when you're having to do certain things and take certain measures to save this person, because they can't help themselves. Like, if they're asleep and their stuff is low, you might have to do what I do. You have to have the patience for it. And even if you do have like a glucagon shot, sometimes they fidget. You know, it's hard to like get them down. You wake up 3 a.m. or you're trying to leave for school or work, or you have something to take care of, but you have to stay because you have to wait until their levels come up. If their levels don't come up, you might have to call an ambulance. You might need the extra help. It can be hard. It happens at the most random moments.
Yep.
But I mean, again, if you're gonna do that, you just got to be ready to take that on, because you're still saving a life. Period.
So you want it to be a hero?
Hero ain't nothing but a sandwich, which is a good book, actually. Alfonso Ribeiro was in the movie. You remember that? No?
God,
okay.
This is.
Nah, it's not me like wanting to be a hero. It's just, you know, having life snuffed out because of that would suck. And you know, just like with people that are starving and everything like that, there are people with Type 1 and even Type 2 that, I mean, we're talking about Type 1 now, that just don't have the means to get help or help themselves. It's unfortunate. So you help where you can.
Yay! Isn't he the sweetest? Okay, let me stop.
Yeah, I'm as sweet as a box of Good and Plenty.
Okay.
And you know what?
Okay, so thank you so much.
You know why they call them Good and Plenty? Because they ain't no good.
Okay, so
they ain't no good. And there's always plenty of them things left.
Okay, so
there's always plenty of them left because don't nobody buy them.
This is all from T1D Lifestyles today. Thank you, Shavar. I love you.
They probably cut this off at like the 6-minute mark.
And I will see you next time with the next episode of T1D Lifestyle Sugar Me Saturday.
Ooh, you smell like pink moisturizer.
But okay, I'm done.